So people are just finding new ways ahead, and some of the hottest dating pros are joining us, and they're about to make your dating lives a whole lot easier, and we hope a lot more fun. Now, from humble beginnings, working as a dating pro and life coach in London's coffee shops and cafes, to running programs about relationships across the globe, we have Matthew Hussey, and stepping out to reveal her lessons learned and confessions of being a serial dater, I've been there, in LA though, Monique Kelley. And whether it's learning how to add a little excitement to your life or how to find love after heartbreak, Marciela Soto, AKA Spicy Mari, has got your match. I think about Cardi B every time I say that. And whether you consider yourself to be a little sweet or a little naughty, sex expert Eileen Kelly is here to break down the hottest truths on intimacy. And here are some questions that I have from my TAM fam. They've emailed us from the show. We're going to get to some of them. Thank you for joining us. So, Monique, I want to start off with you. I don't like to think of dating as a trend, but there are trends. We know, for example, through people used to post in the want ads in the paper, and now you've got all of these apps and different ways to do that. What are the top dating trends these days?
Okay, so obviously right now we have virtual dating. That's a huge trend because right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, so a lot of things are shut down. So virtual dating is huge right now, getting to know someone virtually. The other thing, a term that I coined in the beginning of lockdown was called Corona creepers.
Oh.
These are people that prey on you because it's the pandemic. They don't have to spend a dime on taking you out on a date. So they say everything you want to hear. And at a certain point, you will hear, I'm safe, you're safe, I've been quarantined, you've been quarantined. Why don't you come over? I come over to your house. Their entire goal is to get to your house through empty promises without spending a dime.
Corona creepers. That is, yeah. I've never heard that phrase before. Okay. Yeah. Well, Spicy Mari, what are some of the, I guess, new dating terms? I know we opened the show with some that I'd never heard of. I thought I was cool when I learned what ghosting was. We've established a name to it, but we know that ghosting is nothing new. I used to call it just getting rid of them or changing my phone number. But what are some of the terms now that are standing out?
Of course, a huge one, compliments of Jada and Will, is entanglement.
Oof. Where
you are in a relationship outside of your actual relationship that you've been committed to. So that deals with a little bit of a promiscuous behavior. But then there's an additional one that's pretty popular, which is the Kanye, where you're going on a date and you're talking just about yourself. You're not really giving.
That's called the Kanye?
Yeah,
that's
Kanye.
Terrible. Okay. What is cookie jarring? Because I have cookie jarring. They say this happens when an individual pursues a relationship to have as a backup plan or security blanket with no real intention of a long-term relationship. So you're keeping somebody in the cookie jar.
Yep. Yeah, you're just putting your hands in there. You're not even like making or even ready for a commitment. You're kind of putting them on hold, giving them this false sense of hope, and really not ready to dive in.
That's fascinating. Eileen, let me get you in on this because obviously we talk a lot about social media in regards to dating. I'm still looking at some of these terms. There's one called love bombing, showering someone with attention, gifts, gestures of affection, promises for a future relationship only to distract them from not so great bits. Extreme cases that can form the basis for an abusive relationship. Oh my gosh, I mean, that one went dark fast, but these are some of the phrases that people are using. What stands out to you in modern dating?
Ghosting, breadcrumbing is one where they're just stringing you along without ever wanting to have a real relationship. I think that's a big one we see these days. Yeah.
Well, you know, you specialize in open, frank conversation regarding intimacy, which I love that part of this because one of these new phrases, guys, it's called white clawing. Have you ever dated someone you found painfully attractive, but who was otherwise bland? Like hard seltzer. Y'all are hard on people. Oh, my God. That is brutal. Matthew, you're the guy in here. You don't seem so thrilled by my questions because I'm watching you while the ladies are answering. So you're either the bored guy on the date or you have something very thoughtful you'd like to answer for me. So what is trickling through your... I feel like you're about to break up with me on a Post-it because I'm just watching you the whole time and you don't seem very interested. And I've been on some of those dates before. So what is boring you about me on this virtual date?
Nothing's boring me about you, Tamron. The subject of dating lingo bores me because we've come up with all these new terms for essentially the same thing. I mean, human beings haven't changed. You know, we've got social media, dating apps, all these different ways of meeting, but human beings are the same as they've ever been, really. And if you look at any of these, you know, breadcrumbing, it's stringing someone along. Zombieing, it's the idea of coming back from the dead, someone who ghosted you at one stage and now is messaging you 6 weeks later saying, thinking of you or I miss you. These are all just representations of low investment behavior.
What is your #1 dating advice, tip, guide, Matthew?
Oh my God, on the spot. #1 dating tip. This may not be my #1, but invest and then test. You know, when I say invest in who invests in you, that can sound a bit like a transaction. You know, who moves first? Well, you do have to invest a little bit. You have to be courageous enough to let someone know that you like them or that you still like them or that you want more with them. But then you actually have to test to see if they come to meet you where you are.
Got it.
Communicating is showing someone you like them. Chasing is continuing to chase after someone who's not giving you back what you're putting in.
Good. Okay, Monique, quick advice.
Texting is not a conversation. You fall in love between your ears. Pick up the phone and have a conversation.
Okay.
Don't text.
I like that because I like to hear someone's voice, the cadence, the tone. I like that. Spicy Mari, dating advice.
We have lost focus of the dating process and how it actually happens. It is attract, interact, engage, convert, and retain. And we need to remember those steps, and that should be the process when we're moving forward.
Eileen, 30 seconds. What's your advice?
Love yourself first. Take yourself out on dates. Self-care. You have to know what you like to be able to show a partner.
I love it. You know what? I've done a lot of dating shows. This might be one of the smartest, I think, sincere panels of pros that I've ever met. Some people just come on and are corny. I actually really like all of you, and I appreciate your advice. Thank you.